Hey, what's up guys, Rockskull here, and today I wanted to give my interesting thoughts about Season 9, mostly about the tank experience. I'm not one to make or promote fully negative rant style content, so just know this video is more of a call for change. I know that devs watch these, as the whole comp system changes probably wouldn't have happened if it weren't for SK's video. Thanks again for that, SK. This is all of course my own opinion, so take everything I say with a grain of salt and you can of course leave your own thoughts in the comments. I'll start out with my positives of the season, as I do have a couple. The main positive for me is of course the comp system changes. Although it's literally just the old Overwatch 1 comp system with minor improvements, I'm glad they listened to the community and brought it back. It's definitely a lot less grindy and frustrating than the first Overwatch 2 comp system was. Another positive for me has been that most DPS overall feel better to play. Emphasis on most. The bigger projectile sizes plus the heal reduction passive make it feel a lot better overall finishing kills and doing damage. A lot of the DPS benefit from the general heal passive too, making big flanking and solo plays more viable. This is kinda however where the positives end for me already. And now I'm going to get into why I made this video in the first place. First off, as a tank main, I want to start with the overall tank experience this season. In my opinion, this role has been pretty awful to play since the start of Overwatch 2. With the second tank being removed, a lot more pressure is on you, and counter-swapping became much worse. This season in particular though has been the worst experience so far for me. I feel that a lot of the tank carry potential has been lost with all the squishies having higher HP. You really depend on your DPS to follow up on the space you create now because you can't focus targets too well on your own. Speaking of DPS and their passive, tanks really depend on their healers to survive in Overwatch 2. And having a constant 20% heal reduction applied to you when you just get tickled across the map doesn't feel great. Any slight positional mistakes feels like instant death. And often when I want heals, I'm literally forced to sit behind cover and stare at my supports until I'm full HP. If you're wondering why Ball is so good, I think it's probably because he can actually avoid the heal reduction passive, and he doesn't rely on his supports as much as the other tanks. Speaking of supports, every time I play them this season, I don't have much of a great time either. Since your poor tank just gets shredded every corner he peeks, it feels like you're forced to spam your heals into them so they can have an opportunity to make space. This in turn removes a lot of the carry potential supports have, making them feel more like heal bots. Finally, some heroes have just been left in the dust this season more than any other patch I feel. Junkrat, Ryan, and Hanzo being the biggest standouts to me. Junkrat lost his one shot, and I feel like this might be the worst state he's ever been in because of him feeling so unplayable. I say this knowing about Release Junk, who could literally get hurt by his own explosives and only had one mine. Hanzo also lost his one shot, and now he kinda relies on a Mercy Pocket to get any sort of value, and his playstyle changed more towards an unhealthy spam one. Arg made a great video on the state of Hanzo if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts. I also knew those buffs they gave Ryan would not be enough. This poor old crushing machine just gets steamrolled by the DPS passive. He's been pretty bad since the release of Overwatch 2, and needs help now more than ever. Cloudy also made a great video on the current state of Ryan. If I wanted to be realistic here, since the devs don't like going back on major changes too often, I would say the best way to fix this season for me is by heavily nerfing the DPS passive, but still keeping it relevant, so healing doesn't become too crazy. Either a flat out number nerf to like 15 or 10%, or making the requirement to apply it much harder. It definitely needs a visual too, so tanks can play around it better. I also think tanks in general need damage buffs across the board, to make them have higher carry potential against the higher HP pools. This will make the solo queue tank experience much better. These changes probably wouldn't fix the core problems I have with the game now, but it would at least feel better to play, and I'm assuming are easy to apply to the game. Overall, this balance patch was kinda just unnecessary in my opinion. I get what they were trying to fix, but I feel like such drastic changes to the game weren't needed. I think a patch this big would have been better off tested first, and adjustments made later. I'm looking at you, experimental card. I respect the devs for having so much confidence, but I think we can all agree they would have been better off testing and taking in feedback first for big changes like this, for the long-term quality of the game. To finish off this video before it ends, I want to say to the people who watch my Overwatch content to not expect any more Overwatch videos from me this season probably. Because as you can most likely guess, I'm not having the greatest time right now. The mid-season patch might fix my issues, but from recent dev interviews I've listened to, I kinda doubt it. Other than that, that's all I wanted to talk about for this video. You can let me know your thoughts on this season in the comments, and thanks for the support as always. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.